Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Key coming at y'all boys with a brand new video. Now today, we got the family TV again. You know, it's one of my favorite channels to react to, just point blank period. I love how he goes into detail with everything and he doesn't leave any stone unturned. Real good detail, real well put together stories. So with that being said, make sure y'all boys like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna go ahead and get into this video.
Draw the line.
Yesterday, the Miami police vowed to put an end to the turf war. Some may have vowed to put an end to them. A caller to Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers that left a message saying, quote, since the city police are going after the John Does are going to set up rooftop snipers.
What do you think about all this gang violence that's going on in the streets?
I don't know.
What do you think about charges against you?
I don't know what charges against me.
They didn't tell you the charges against you?
No.
Try to believe
bro.
it. FBI usually does that.
When people see this and they see you ain't taking it seriously, it makes them want to go harder on you.
Just what? They didn't tell you what you charged with? You know Little Vo? What do you think of Little Vo?
I don't know him, man.
You don't know Little Vo?
No.
Are you in the John Does? What do they want?
Who is that? What that
John
is?
Doe gang. You know what it is.
I know what that is.
Are
Who
you a
that
gang
is?
member, sir?
No.
Where'd you get the teeth?
Yes, there's been some shooting on Northwest 70th Street and 15th Avenue.
Miami is crazy, bro.
How many shots have you heard? I heard about 15 shots. I hit the floor when I heard the noise. Then I hear a lot of yelling outside now.
Vale police say is the fallen angel of the well-known gang, the John Does. After leaving that gang and creating his own several months ago, police say Vale's girlfriend, Angel Bennett Wilson, was murdered as retaliation.
Whoa.
Hello. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Good afternoon.
Good, Trev. How are you?
A one-time leader of the John Does, Travis Galashaw.
Mind you, Travis Galashaw pled guilty to conspiracy to murder a prosecutor.
Now, we just got to keep everybody alive and going until then.
Family, this week, a man from Miami, Florida, who was sentenced to life in prison, just received confirmation from his attorney and a judge he's soon to be a free man. Now, this is a man who was arrested 10 years ago for a botched hit. Turns out, he was included to be responsible for a young girl in middle school who lost her life, which we'll later discuss.
So, not only were you in this conspiracy plot to kill a prosecutor, y'all killed a little girl, and all you did was serve 10 years, bro. This shit be bugging, bro. These folks.
Who was arrested 10 years ago for a botched hit. Turns out he was included to be responsible for a young girl in middle school who lost her life, which we'll later discuss. But little did that man know, who was sentenced to life a decade ago, as we just mentioned, the state attorney and the prosecutor at the time had already made a deal with the devil. The man who put him on that hit from jail, fam, that was the same man who told on him. A man who's considered by his body count a Sir UK. A gang leader who been responsible for bodies to drop as a free man and while incarcerated. But you wouldn't believe it. And this more common than often, but it's seldomly talked about. That man was the state's district attorney and prosecutor, biggest informant for not just that case, but for many more, even while in jail, for cases that didn't even involve him. But this how sneaky some of these district attorneys and prosecutors get down, because this informant also confessed to other murders that's unsolved. But not once for over a decade did they mention this to the public or even these victims' family. It wasn't until they got exposed. But
you gotta understand, these people want to further their careers. They want to push this, they want to push that. So if they can keep you in jail, you can say, okay, I killed these 10 people. Okay, well, you're already in jail serving life, so who was with you? And that's how I think about stuff like this. Like, yeah, he did this, that, and the third, but he wasn't always by himself. So if we can get some more cases under our belt and lock up these quote-unquote killers, then let's just go ahead and do it. Like, we can really go up in our careers by using this witness.
All this came to the public's eye because the state prosecutor wanted to make his last case before he retired a death row case. Let's just say, which you'll later find out in the video, things didn't go as he planned. He ended up exposing his best kept secret, his biggest informant, from a jail call that he made to him. And I want to put things in perspective. This state prosecutor tried to put one of Miami's biggest gangsters to death. We'll later go over that story in the video as well. But his biggest witness was a serial K. And this Miami gangster, based on his body count, is a serial K. So this how dirty the state prosecutor was moving, using a serial K to get another serial K to chair, all while pampering the one that's already been cooperating for the last 10 years. And now
but for the last 10 years, he's been making him look like just the best prosecutor on earth. Whole time, you playing dirty. And these prosecutors, they play dirty all the time. They playing dirty with Young Thug. They playing dirty with Trump. They gonna play dirty because if they don't have an open and shut case, they have to find a way to win. Them losses hurt them.
10 years later, as a result, cases are getting thrown out. Victims' families are hurting. All because the Miami-Dade County District Attorney's Office at the time, unethical actions. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, family, but that's where we at. Don't worry. I'm going to go in chronological order, and I'm going to explain it to a T.
And what's crazy, bro, I want to move to Miami. Like, always, you know what I'm saying? Atlanta's always going to be home ground. You know what I'm saying? I might have, like, the crib here, but, like, go to Miami, get a nice little condo building. That way, if the elements and stuff do what they do, you won't be as bad.
First, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. For a long time, Miami-Dade County prosecutors used a mass shooter who was incarcerated as their state witness. For years, Miami-Dade's attorney's office used the inmate to build cases inside the jail in ways experts call illegal. The mass shooter / inmate was identified as William Little Bill Brown. He was used by prosecutors to ask about crimes and suspects. Prosecutors would use Little Bill to keep an eye on key witnesses inside the jail. Any conversation used around him, he would give it to law enforcement. But I guess Little Bill owed them. In return, he received only 25 years as a plea deal for 2 murders. And one included a middle school student. Mind you, when Little Bill was first arrested, he was facing the death penalty. But it seemed he had more than 2 bodies. Cause check this out, family. According to prosecutors, he got a pass from them after he secretly confessed his involvement in at least 4 other murders, including 2 teens who were killed in one of Miami's worst mass shootings. Now we'll later get into more details about that case, as well as the middle school student. But here's the thing, family. The public and the victims' families never knew. For over 10 years, prosecutors have kept Little Bill protected at a local jail, preventing him from going to prison and offering him a chance of an early release. So at this point, what does that mean to the public? And how did they find out? Now, as mentioned, fam, this first came to light in April of 2024, when the state attorney's office of Miami-Dade, Catherine Randall, faced a long list of claims. Some had recorded calls, some had emails, and even sworn statements. The state's attorney actions contributed to a judge's decision this year to throw 2 prosecutors off a capital murder case. At the center of all this was Von Zomp, a state prosecutor who was thrown off the death penalty of a Miami gangster, Corey Smith. And he intended for this to be his last case. In March,
but look, bro,
in the words of a judge,
that ain't nobody but God, bro. Because you got to think about it, right? How you made it all the way to the end of your career. And before you get out, bro, the last case, all this come out. On the last case. Now you know what they're going to do? They're going to go reopen and relook at all those cases that you had anything to do with, bro. A lot of people might get set free.
Judge manipulation. Now, fam, to give you an idea of who Corey Smith is, in the late 90s, he was head of a gang called John Doe's that was mainly operated in Liberty City and Overtown. Corey Smith didn't get arrested till 1999. That was right before a gruesome war with someone who tried to leave his gang. Now, Corey's cousin, his younger cousin, LaTravis Galashaw, was the second man in charge. In the late 90s, a guy that went by the name of Lil Bo decided to create his own gang and leave the John Doe's. But Corey Smith and the John Doe's wasn't having it. Before Lil Bo could be arrested after being attacked by his ex-gang, his girlfriend was a casualty of his war. And after that point, he went into a rampage himself. His girl was identified as Angel. And just for FYI, shout out to her son, who's now a Harvard graduate. May she rest in peace. and level condolences to her family.
Draw the line.
Yesterday, the Miami police vowed to put an end to the turf war. Some may have vowed to put an end to them. A caller to Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers that left a message saying, quote, since the city police are going after the John Does are going to set up rooftop snipers. Now, the John Does are Fail's gang and believed to be the ones who were threatening to target officers from the rooftops of Liberty City. Just after the call, a warning went out to all officers on the streets, but officials at the department tonight are saying they have no intention of scaling back their own efforts to end the turf war. Meanwhile, Anthony Fail, also known as Little Bo, remains on the loose this morning, and police are still asking if you know anything about his whereabouts to give them a call.
The city,
I believe that this was Anthony Fail. What can you tell us?
So I can demonstrate his green, and he has...
I just spotted him. It was Anthony Fail. I spotted him at 15 and 6'3", and he jumped back in the car and got into a...
Police are now searching for Anthony Fail, who is wanted in connection with several murders in Liberty City over drug territory. Fail, police say, is the man seen in this surveillance video firing several shots at an intended target, killing that person and wounding this innocent 8-year-old girl in the process.
Bro,
police say Fail is one of the...
I be saying, bro, y'all be trying to run into these stores and use all these people as human shields and your business, bro. Y'all know that life come with death or jail, bro. Now, I know nobody just wants to sit right here and die, but, bro, why would you run into... and you gonna jump over the counter like that's gonna save you, bro?
Small number of gang members left. They fear will kill again.
The second thing that concerns us, obviously, is our cops are outgunned for the most part. Some of the rounds that are fired by these rifles will zip right through the bulletproof vest that the police officers wear.
Anthony Fail is described by police as a cold-blooded killer with no conscience, armed with a criminal rap sheet and at least one high-powered assault rifle. Fail, police say, is the fallen angel of the well-known gang, the John Does. After leaving that gang and creating his own several months ago, police say, Fail's girlfriend, Angel Bennett Wilson, was murdered as retaliation. And they now have to wonder how many more will die before it's all over.
Once we arrested him, and I believe to this point, he's been calm. He's nervous, he looks scared, but at the same time I think he's relieved. I think he was tired of running.
Running and jumping from hotel to hotel is how investigators describe the last few days Anthony Fail has been living. Last night, however, Little Bo failed to slip by police and was arrested at a Days Inn motel in West Palm Beach after an informant called in a tip to police.
We found the car we thought he was using outside a hotel, and by talking to the desk clerks and knocking on some doors, we basically emptied one wing of the hotel, so there was only people in one room, and the FBI SWAT team went in and took the guy down.
A heavily armed SWAT team surrounded Fail's room. Once inside, they found Miami-Dade's most wanted fugitive unarmed and eating a pizza. So far, he's been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, 2 of which were caught by surveillance cameras when Fail allegedly shot a rival gang member inside a Liberty City market a few months ago. A stray bullet also hit an 8-year-old girl. Police believe Fail is key to stopping the ongoing violent drug war in that area, and they warn it will no longer be tolerated.
Anyone out there who's listening that thinks there is a window of opportunity to move into this narcotics trade, that thinks that they can use violence to advance themselves, is sorely wrong and will pay a severe penalty for it.
Anything you want to say at all about the gang violence in the streets?
I'm innocent, baby. Yeah.
Anything you want to say at all about the charges against you?
The alleged members of the Cloud 9 and John Doe's gangs include this man, Corey Smith, accused of being the ringleader.
Anything to say at all, Corey?
Authorities say the John Doe's gang members were violent cocaine suppliers for Liberty City, a gang that Anthony Little Bo Fail tried to take control of with a splinter gang. They include gang First Lieutenant LaTravis Galashaw. Galashaw and the others now face stiff federal charges because of a federal Safe Street initiative that targets violent gangs. The FBI says those arrested are responsible for 20 murders, 10 attempted murders, and were found with $250,000 worth of drugs. Aside from murder charges, they're accused of possessing firearms and trafficking in drugs.
Anything at all about your case, arrests at all?
The arrests follow an 18-month investigation by the FBI. All of the suspects either refused to comment or, as in the case of Charles Clark, said they were ignorant.
What do you think about all this gang violence that's going on in the streets?
I don't know.
What do you think about charges against you?
I don't know what charges against me.
They didn't tell you the charges against you?
No.
It's hard to believe. The FBI usually does that. That's the law. They didn't tell you what you charged with?
No.
You know Little Bo? What do you think of Little Bo?
I don't know him, man.
You don't know Little Bo?
No.
Are you in the John Does? What are they like?
Who is that? What that
John
is?
Doe gang. You know what it is.
I know what that is.
Oh,
Are you a
really?
gang member, sir?
Smiling,
No.
man.
Where'd you get the teeth?
In 2000, a Miami-Dade grand jury indicted Corey Smith. Prosecutors charged him for the murder of Brown, Wilson, Leon Haley, and Jackie Pope. May they all rest in peace. In 2004, Smith was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree M. He received sentences of life in prison for the murders of Pope, Haley, and sentenced to death
I was
for the
about to
murders
say,
of
bro,
Brown
ain't no
and
way you
Wilson.
got caught on 4 bodies in Florida and you don't get no death penalty. It's crazy.
Changes in the death penalty law prompted the resentencing trial decades after Smith, 51, was convicted of 4 murders related to the gang, which detectives said they distributed C, crack C, and M from 1994 to 1999 in Miami's Liberty City
is still
neighborhood.
crazy to
But
this
in
day, too.
2023, the state prosecutor, Vaughn, he wanted one more chance to give Corey Smith the chair. But in this go-round, the state prosecutor got another secret weapon they didn't have the first time around. Lil Bill, they biggest informant, who had nothing to do with this case, to make sure Corey Smith get the chair. But the things he said on a
Just
recorded
think about
jail
that,
phone
bro.
call
Think
was
about
unethical.
that. You're willing to break the law just to get somebody killed. You're on your way out the door. It don't matter. You're willing to break the law, risk everything that you built over the last 20, 30 years of you doing what you're doing to get somebody killed.
And those things came to light early 2024. In return, Corey Smith, his trial has stopped. Prosecutor, he was let off the case. No real punishment. He retired and resigned and be able to get his retirement. And that's for Corey Smith. Well, he didn't have to get the chair.
On 6, hear what a judge called the smoking gun phone call between a longtime prosecutor and a convicted killer. It's a call that has shaken the Miami-Dade State Attorney's office and put a death penalty conviction in jeopardy.
NBC6 investigator Tony Pipitone obtained the recording the judge found that supported the removal of 3 prosecutors from that
And then
case.
you got a slap on the wrist.
Only one of them is still working for the Miami-Dade State Attorney. The others resigned, one just hours after the order disqualifying him came down. The disqualifications are stunning in many ways, but none more so than the judge finding that reasonable minds could conclude one of those prosecutors sent a cryptic message to a convicted killer to eliminate a witness.
What?
For much of the 1990s, a violent drug gang, dubbed the John Does, wreaked havoc in Liberty City and beyond, killing witnesses and rivals until police shut them down. In 2000, this now former prosecutor, Michael Van Zonft, worked to indict the John Does, including Corey Smith, who was sentenced to death in 2005 for 2 murders. Since the jury was not unanimous for death, Van Zonft was back before Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Andrea Ricker-Wolfson, seeking death again at resentencing. Here arguing in 2022,
I am dealing in a capital case where all of a sudden documents are being filed by the defense.
Corey Smith's death sentences would cap Van Zonft's 40-year legal career.
He did, in fact, end his career with Corey Smith, but just not the way he had envisioned.
That's because Smith's latest attorneys uncovered this. An August 2022 jail call to Van Zonft from a murderer.
Hello? What's up, Mike? How you doing? Good afternoon.
Good, Trav. How are you?
A one-time leader of the John Does, Travis Galashaw.
Mind you, Travis Galashaw pled guilty to conspiracy to murder a prosecutor.
He's a prosecutor.
Now, we just got to keep everybody alive and going until then.
Witnesses against Smith, including an eager Galashaw, but also others who were giving Van Zonft problems.
I'm trying to figure out who I want to use to testify that testified before that's not, going to be crazy and with us.
You got to understand about the Black Widow now. She some cold.
The Black Widow is Trisha Jeter, Smith's former girlfriend.
She gave full and complete testimony in the last trial.
Yeah.
If I call her and she refuses, then I will find a way to make her unavailable, and then I can read her whole testimony.
Read it to a new jury.
You would want to do that?
No, I don't want to do it. I'd rather she testified and did a good job. But can I count on it? No.
Whoa. Judge Wilson found that reckless and supportive of Jeter's testimony last month.
She had developed a fear or concern that Michael Van Zonft would prefer her to be dead.
The judge wrote, the court does not believe that Mr. Van Zonft was sending a cryptic message to Mr. Galashaw to eliminate Ms. Jeter. However, reasonable minds may reach a different conclusion.
So she's saying that she can't come out and say that, but, hey, it's a possibility.
For that and other reasons, Judge Wolfson took the rare step of kicking prosecutors off the case, none of whom have responded to our request for comment.
Now, fam, once Lil Bill told prosecutors not to trust one of their key witnesses, calling him an asshole, they laughed and quoted, "That's why we love you, Bill." Little Bill is now 33 years old and been incarcerated since 2014.
So he only been
in 2014, American Eagle was a popular brand. That was also the name of the gang that Little Bill was associated with. In January of 2010, Little Bill was in jail for first degree for gunning down a 19-year-old man who go by the name of Bernard Bear Moore. Lil Bill once told a friend that he shot Bernard Moore like 17 times in the face. A survivor who was also shot in the back identified Little Bill as the shooter. Once arrested, Lil Bill activities didn't stop. The gang leader ordered his gang to keep the war going against their rival gang. But during that hit, to take out the leader, the hit went wrong and stole the life of an 8th grader, Sabrina O'Neal. May she rest in peace. I love condolences to her family. On the way back from Brownsville, the gangsters was gleeful and singing while on a recorded call on a jail with Lil Bill, assuming they took down his enemies. Lil Bill once quoted, "You know you made me happy, boy."
Demonic.
Now Lil Bill was charged for this, but he was feeding the info to the police, well, the prosecutor. So he was cool. In late 2000,
people to go commit murders just to tell on them about the murders to make himself look good to get out of jail. It's a dirty game, bro. The streets is a myth.
13, it was a string of deadly robberies that left a 10 and 20-year-old deceased. Fam, Lil Bill called detectives himself to let them know it was his homies who did the crime. And this is where we introduce Lil Bill's new plea agreement. Fam, it wasn't even 24 hours yet. The day after Lil Bill gave info on the 2013 jailhouse confession of his friend, in return, Lil Bill received a 25-year sentence. The Syracuse informant for the charges pending against him. That included the 2 M's of Bernard, aka Bear, and for the body that he ordered while incarcerated, O'Neal, the teenager that was gunned down after his Bosch jail hit. Sweet deal, right? Not to mention, both cases had the death penalty as an option. And don't forget, the state was aware of Lil Bill's participation in the third murder, the one he got away with, the 2007 demise of Richard Jolly. May he rest in peace. Lil Bill was just 17 years old at the time, but under his new plea agreement, the state couldn't prosecute him for any other murder he admitted to a part of the deal.
So he was
but check this out. After being promised immunity, Lil Bill confessed to what was
basically it. So they gave him immunity, but then they're trying to use him as a witness in an illegal way.
Called at the time the worst mass shooting in Miami-Dade history. Brown and his friends ran down on a group of men playing dice on a street corner. They shot 9 people, killing 18-year-old Derek Gollister and 16-year-old Brandon Mills. May they both rest in peace and love and condolences to their families. Most of the victims were current or former students at the local high school, Miami Northwestern.
Miami Police Department, how may I help you? Yes, there's been some shooting on Northwest 70th Street and 15th Avenue. What happened? You got shot up. I did? My sister got shot too. How many shots have you heard? I heard about 15 shots. I hit the floor when I heard the noise. Then I hear a lot of yelling outside now. Oh my God! Nobody, only the police is here. The nurse is not here. On the way, ma'am. They're on the way.
Thank you. Angela Graham's baby was in a crowd of more than 50 Friday night watching a game.
Is like we got a lot of crash outs and stuff like that in our generation, bro. But this generation right here, like the 90s, 80s, early 2000s, like, bro, these people was cutthroat too. They don't want to admit it, bro, but these folks was cutthroat.
Dice. Moments later, they were sprayed with bullets. More than 100 bullet casings found at the scene.
I want them to turn themselves in. They took everything from me.
9 people were hit, including 18-year-old Derek Gloucester and 16-year-old Brandon Mills.
He was well-mannered, soft-talking,
good kid. Now fast forward to August of 2024. The alleged driver in that botch hit that was ordered by Lil Bill, who confessing to all these murders and still being the prosecutor's biggest witness, while inside of jail, he get to walk free. Turns out, because of all this, and it's just been discovered a decade later, he's going to be a free man.
2010, 15-year-old Sabrina O'Neill was gunned down. At the time, her loved ones urged the killers to turn themselves in.
So you sent the hit that killed a little girl.
And it would mean everything in a rut. The person who did it just come forward.
In January, Taji Pearson, the last of 5 co-defendants with an open case, was found guilty. Pearson got life in prison, but today, that sentence was thrown out.
We could not confirm that it was turned over to the defense. At any point in the 11-year history of the case? No, Judge. It does not appear to have been turned over.
Prosecutors admitted some evidence was not given to Pearson's attorneys. Misconduct defense attorney Michelle Borshu says was done by the former prosecutor on the case, Michael Van Zandt.
And while none of this stuff, because you seem to be a high-profile lawyer, high-profile attorney. All of this stuff that you did, everything that made you who you are, is probably going to get turned over. And you're going to be a distant memory.
Points to actual innocence of Mr. Pearson. This is all stuff that I had the right to have, so when they were sitting on that stand, I could cross-examine them on it.
Borshu says the hidden evidence would have been useful to attack the witnesses that testified against her client during trial. Pearson, now one of several cases where Miami-Dade state attorneys have not followed court policy. In March, Michael Van Zandt, for once top prosecutor on the case, resigned after judge found he manipulated witness testimony, hid evidence, and was reckless during a death penalty case against a notorious gang leader.
He put in jail in 40 years like this. 40 years. People go to jail every day. People get sentenced to prison every day. Like, he ain't thinking about nobody but himself and his career.
Kind of the dust that has been stirred from that order, from cases that Michael Van Zandt prosecuted. I don't think that the dust is done stirring yet.
The new assigned prosecutors for Pearson stated vacating his life sentence was the best option to avoid a new trial. Now, a man once facing life in prison for his involvement in a teen's death will be free in less than 2 years.
15 years in Florida State Prison, followed by 4 years of reporting probation.
And Pearson's attorney believes there are more cases where the state attorney's office should re-examine for error, all to be transparent and uphold justice. In Miami, Christian Colon, NBC6 News.
Free man. Now, as we get to the conclusion of this video, it's important to say this. If these wasn't the state prosecutor or the state district attorney and a regular civilian, it's getting arrested. So just like they put the pictures up of alleged criminals, I want us to take the moment to get these names right of the state prosecutor and the state district attorney and the assistant, as well as they picture, just in case they stumble upon our presence. All they got was a resignation and a chance to retire early. They still get to get a pension of tax-paying citizens. So the Miami-Dade state attorney is Catherine Rundle to the right, and the assistant and state attorneys is Michael Zamp and Stephen Mitchell to the left. Now, as we wrap this video up, we do want to say once again, rest in peace to all the victims.
That's crazy, bro. The very people that y'all were supposed to protect, the ones y'all was taking advantage of for the own good of you and your career. Just think about that, bro. And that's why, as us, bro, it's very important that you stay out of these folks' system, because you on their playing field in their courtrooms, they handing out life sentences and death penalties to people on these cases, and they doing it illegally, knowing they're doing it illegally, with the thought that they're not going to get caught. They just don't think they're going to get caught. And even if they do get caught, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing just happened to them. So with that being said, man, it's your boy Key checking in, checking out, bro. This was crazy. I hope they go back and really go through all those cases. It's going to take forever and it's going to waste a lot of money, but maybe some of them folks can, you know what I'm saying, be freed soon. It's crazy, bro. And they're not, well, I don't even, because I guess most of them are still guilty. Like the dude's saying, okay, this is who did it, but you're getting your evidence and your information illegally. So with that being said, man, you ain't do your job. You wanted to take the shortcut. You took a shortcut, and now everybody's gonna pay for it. So with that being said, it's your boy Key checking in, checking out. Make sure y'all boys like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.